All right. Thank you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbi ajma'een. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri. Wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. And thank you all so much for joining me on this webinar where I'm going to share with you some 7 unusual, hopefully helpful productivity hacks for 1443, inshallah ta'ala. Of course, a preview of the upcoming Productivity Masterclass that starts tomorrow, inshallah ta'ala. But first of all, I want to see how many people are new here. How many people have never heard of Productive Muslim, never, never attended a single webinar, first time perhaps you attended. If you can just type some new here, and how many are like old timers, the people who are just, have been every single webinar, attending one of masterclass. All right, we got EC. I'm sure EC is the first time, but new here. Thank you for joining us. Who else is new? Who else is completely new? First time for webinar. Makida, thank you for joining us. Aisha, old timer, thank you so much. Bashir, new, thank you. Hasbul Haq, new, thank you so much. Jazakumullah khair for joining. Great to have you with us. We have a lot of people who are, some of you. Khadija, thank you for joining us. Danish, old timer, thank you, appreciate you being here. Awesome. Fitriya, from Indonesia, thank you. Subuh, welcome, new. Bilqis, all-timer, awesome. Nilva, second-timer, good stuff. All right, Sumaya, all-time as well. And Muna, of course, all-timer, awesome. Jazakumullah khair for guys, thank you for joining. I really appreciate you being here. Honestly, I wanted to share this with you to kind of help you get started with 1443. We started Hijriya in Muharram, and last week we went about Go Hijri, we spoke about going Hijri. And I thought, it'd be really helpful to kind of share stuff I've learned over the years that helped improve my productivity, and I think might help you as well. And for those who are interested, I can let you know more about the masterclass starting tomorrow, inshallah ta'ala. So let's get started, shall we? So my intention, my niyyah for this session is to share my top 7, what I call uncommon productivity hacks, meaning that a lot of times you might hear very common productivity hacks like, sleep early, wake up early, make sure you exercise, and so on and so forth. These things are, kind of like stuff I gathered over the years, which I thought might be helpful, even for those of you who've kind of watched my Productive Masterclass, some alumni. I know there's a pretty few alumni there. Shout out to Rahina, a veteran of all our masterclass, mashallah, and all the alumni. So even if you've been to one of my masterclass, you might find this also useful, and some things that perhaps you'll pick up in today's session, inshallah. And then once we cover the 7 productivity hacks, I'll go and explain more detail about the masterclass that starts tomorrow. So a lot of you might have questions about it, might know what is the masterclass, how long is the session, what is exactly covered, will it help me or not, all those stuff, inshallah, I will answer the question. And perhaps maybe the alumni can jump in and we share details later on about the masterclass and how it helped them as well. And of course, answer any questions about the Productivity Masterclass as we go along. So as always, I like to start the session by asking you, what is your intention, right? What's your intention for joining today? I would like you to make the most of this session. This should not be just another webinar, another Zoom call. I'm sure all of us have Zoomed out by now, but it should be something more intentional, something that inshallah ta'ala be recorded for you on the Day of Judgment, something that will make a difference in your life and that you feel like this inshallah ta'ala will be helpful. And the higher the intention, the more fulfilling this experience, this 1 hour would be, inshallah ta'ala. So what is your intention? If you can just type that in the chat and just share it with everybody. What is your intention? Bismillah. Give you time to think about that. Bismillah. Labib, I'm very productive last few days. I think it will help to regain productivity. Okay. Labib, I will actually challenge you to start thinking, what will you use that productivity for, right? Because sometimes you can be productive, but then you just, you waste your productivity. What can you use that productivity for, inshallah ta'ala? I should learn how to make the best use of my time, getting close to Allah ta'ala, all right? Who else? Simad manage to Allah ta'ala, how to get back after a bout of laziness, yes. Then apply the hacks, Shanaz, awesome, okay. Empty field, improve my life, stop procrastinating, attain Jannah, inshallah. All right, more time with the family, get more time out of what I have. Awesome, Farhan. Okay, good. All right, so let's get into inshallah ta'ala and help you. All right, this first one is what I shared in the email, but I'm going to reiterate it again because I think it's important to kind of reiterate why it's important. So for those who read the email, read the social media post, I said that one of the top productivity hacks that I have for 1443 is to leave WhatsApp groups. And I said, honestly speaking, it is unnatural to be connected 24/7 to various social circles 20 from the morning till the evening. It's just not natural. Think about yourself, not even 10, 15 years ago. Yeah, probably 10, 15 years ago, actually more than that, before 2007 at least. You probably had a circle of friends that you met every once in a while. And you probably had people you probably wrote letters to or emails to, perhaps in the 2000s. And it was kind of normal to have some kind of social boundaries between different groups, right? Whether it's your sports group, whether it's your family group, whether it's your friends that you hang out, your neighbors. But now it's like you're constantly plugged in to all these groups across all areas of your life, whether it's family, sports, homeschooling, schooling, kids, parents, neighbors, and you're always connected to them 24/7, waking up with them, sleeping, going to sleep with them. And like I said, it is absolutely unnatural to do that. So my top one, number 7, I'll go and count down. So I'll start with number 7 to break hack is you need to create the social boundaries. This is why this boost works. And it reduces distraction. Think about it. A lot of times we crave distraction. Let's be honest, right? A lot of us, perhaps we have important things to do, but then, oh, I wonder what so-and-so said in that group. Oh, I wonder what's happened in this group. It's becoming our way to crave distraction. Maybe we don't watch TV as much. Maybe we don't go on YouTube as much, but some people just like, a WhatsApp group is becoming our stream of entertainment that we're getting, right? All those GIFs and LOLs and videos. And then of course, the horrible messages and crazy WhatsApp forwards, right? We crave it. And because we crave it, we are attached to them. We want to continue being in those groups. But when you exit these groups, you actually suddenly realize this whole space that was occupied by one or two or more of these groups has actually, left you empty, has actually left, right? It's almost like you have a part of your brain that was purely occupied with all that's happened in the group. And now that is not there anymore. It's almost have extra brain capacity, right? Extra space in your head to think things through and become less distracted. And more importantly, I think something we don't talk about as well is that you're less likely to get hijacked. How many of us, especially during COVID, right? We get these alarming headlines, right? Every day, someone's sharing alarming headlines. And yes, sometimes it's important to know the important news and to be aware of what's happening around you and not live in a bubble. But when you're constantly bombarded by alarming headlines, by things that just freak you out, by things that make you panic, it just always makes you almost like in this sort of panic mode, and not able to start think things clearly and things thoroughly. You're always sort of distracted. Even if you want to start your day with the most important thing, that thing that news just hijacks your brain, hijacks your attention, and now you can't focus on what's really, really important. So it's important to really start to scrutinize and to leave WhatsApp groups. So here's how we're going to do this. Number 1, you're going to start off by just picking one group that you can comfortably leave with and have no regrets, right? I know some groups are really hard to leave, but some groups you think, you know what, I think it's time for me to get out of this group. And there's 2 ways of doing it. You can either leave quietly, right? So just exit the group and hope no one notices, or you can just send a nice message saying, "Sorry, everybody. Hey, thank you so much for, I will really enjoy my time with this group. I'm going to be stepping away I'm going to exit the group for personal reasons. I hope you all understand. And if you need anything from me, feel free to message me privately," right? Nice and polite. You don't have to say, "I hate this group," or "You guys are distracting me," or you don't have to say anything. Just be polite about it. Just say thank you, and you can walk out and shout out. Sometimes what happens when you leave is someone reach out, "Hey, are you okay? What's going on?" It happens to me all the time. Sometimes I leave groups and people start messaging me, "Are you okay? What's going on? Are you upset with us?" I'm like, "No, I'm not upset. I'm just taking some time off." Sometimes I joke with them and say, "Hey, I'm allergic to WhatsApp groups. Actually, I have a personal issue with WhatsApp group. I'm allergic to them." Or I might say things like, "I'm doing a live editing right now, and I'm just trying to reduce my, some commitments at the moment, but feel free to reach out to me privately as well." Again, I know the social stigma associated with leaving WhatsApp group, but it doesn't have to be that bad. So right now, your challenge, I'm going to be here. We have about 91 of you here. I want each of you to leave one WhatsApp group. I'm not going to continue this webinar until each of you leave one WhatsApp group and leave me a note in the chat saying done. All right, Bismillah. So let's hear from people. Go to any pickup, any WhatsApp group, and just walk out. Just leave. If you leave a message or just walk out. Start now. Done. All right. Yes. Bismillah. Let's start off. So let's see. You'll be surprised, Samia, that you might live in a bubble, but you might be opening yourself up. You know what? I realized something when you leave these groups and when you start having spend more time with yourself. A, you go to focus what's really important in your life. B, you're less likely to be constantly bombarded and hijacked. And C, those are within your circle, those who you really care about, they'll reach out to you. And if something happens in the community, in the news that's so important, it gets to you eventually. Like I've lived so many WhatsApp groups, I thought, oh my God, I kind of miss out what's happening. But honestly speaking, so far it's been feeling great and I have not missed out. And if something important happened, it will somehow get to me, right? So try it out. Again, also, Sami, remember my style is experiment. What's the worst that can happen? Experiment and see how it goes, inshallah. All right, let's see it. Okay, Hiba's out. Awesome. Nice, Jawad. 9 groups. Lubna, done. Love it. Juwaira, don't use WhatsApp. Respect. Merv, done. Ali Lee, done. Okay, partner group, how you going? Left 3 groups. Well done. Okay. Lena, inshallah, no one here is the groups I intend to leave. All right, good. All right, yes, this again, I say I don't use WhatsApp. There's a sure calmness not being really available since I stopped. Yes, done. Well done, awesome. Again, see, this is, again, I love this, right? These webinars are not just about, me blasting information at you. This webinar is about you taking action and you seeing the benefit of this action. Sometimes the smallest action leads to massive results. Again, it might not be this group. And again, good point. Someone said, what Facebook groups? It depends what distracts you. If Facebook groups is the thing that distracts you, then leave Facebook groups. If Slack channels thing that distracts you, then leave Slack channels. If it's Telegram that distracts you, leave Telegram. If it's a Snapchat thing or Instagram thing, then leave those groups which you are constantly bombarded. Whatever you feel is the thing that's just taking too much mental space and not helping you, inshallah. Good. Samia, left one input group, tell to the others. Start one by one, and you'll be surprised. Inshallah, that the more you take the steps, small steps. There were some groups where I thought, my goodness, if I leave, it'll be like a disaster. But honestly speaking, I realized it's not. And like I said, sometimes you'll be amazed how you find other ways to be updated to know what's happening. You don't have to know everything's happening all the time. And it's just much more natural, much more normal. Like I said to you before, think about yourself 20 years ago, right? You're not plugged into what's happening 24/7. You found other means to connect with people. You had lunch with people. You met people. You had a chat with them every now and then. But just being 24/7 connected to all the social networks, it is difficult. Farhan, well done. All right, let's move on to number 6 of our tip for inshallah. Baby steps, absolutely, baby steps, Samia. All right, number 6, intermittent fasting. All right, so I'm sure you heard a lot about intermittent fasting from a health perspective. But again, I'm looking for my own research, I look at it from a productivity perspective, a performance perspective, and there's been an enormous amount of research as well as personal anecdotes about how intermittent fasting improves your energy and also improves your focus and concentration and mental clarity. This idea of mental clarity, how many of you experience mental fog, right? You have this like, right? This fog that comes over your head and you just can't think clearly, especially in the early hours in the morning. You think, let me get more coffee in. That mental fog, if you want to improve your energy levels and also reduce mental fog, intermittent fasting helps a lot. Now, what is intermittent fasting? Now, first of all, I want to do 2 things. I want to separate spiritual fast, which is the fast we do for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ramadan, the Mondays and Thursdays, all that stuff, from your health fast. A lot of times, and unfortunately, a lot of Muslims, we fall for this. We say, fasting is good for you. Let me just fast Monday and Thursday for health reason. No, please don't. One thing that we're big about in Productivity Muslim is make sure your intention is clean and pure. You don't want to mix intentions. I understand that, yes, you might be able to layer your intentions, but those, especially when it comes to acts of worship, things like fasting or salah, you don't do salah for exercise or for yoga. You don't do fasting for health reasons. You do it purely for Allah's sake. So what I recommend, if you normally fast Mondays and Thursdays or 3 days a month, those are your spiritual fasts and you're doing it for spiritual reasons only, and really renew your intention. You're doing it for spiritual reasons. Other days of the week, Other times of the month, you're saying, okay, I'm doing intermittent fasting. What is intermittent fasting? You simply start off by saying, I will stop eating for at least 12 to 14 hours. If you've not done this before, 12 to 14 hours. For example, my last meal would be 8 p.m. and my breakfast will start at 10 a.m. That's a starting point. Now, warning, the first 3 days intermittent fasting, you will feel dizzy, you will feel headaches, you might not like it. But just like Ramadan, after a few days, your body adjusts to it. So just stick with it for 3-4 days and you'll be fine. After a few days, you can start increasing your feeding, your fasting window. During your fasting hours, you're not allowed to eat anything except for water and coffee and tea, right? So coffee, tea, water, no juice. So coffee, tea, water with tea and coffee without milk and sugar, no frappuccino, cappuccino, all the chino stuff, right? Just no tea, no coffee, no sugar, no milk during the fasting hours. So for example, I wake up in the morning, I have some water, and then I have a cup of coffee, and then I have lots more water, and then more cups of coffee until when I'm supposed to break my fast. Aim to get to 16 hours of fasting. Right. So this is one I follow personally. I do 16, sometimes 17, 18 hours. So sometimes from 6 p.m. or even 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. And I don't eat anything until midday, 12 p.m., 1 p.m. And honestly speaking, I've found it improves my energy. I even do my workouts in the morning, exercise, running, and all the stuff. And it actually improves also my workout performance as well. So this is really, really helpful and makes a difference. Okay. So I cannot recommend this enough, especially I've seen the huge impact had on productivity. My most productive hours are during these hours when I'm intermittent fasting. The key thing, and I'll repeat it again, the key thing is to separate. Oops, let me go back. The key thing is to separate your spiritual fast from intermittent fasting. I've seen this many times. Unfortunately, a lot of Muslims, acts of worship are treated as health regimens or performance. Salah is meditation or yoga, and fasting is health. And we forget that these are acts of worship, which we'll do for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's sake. And we try to purify our intentions only for Him. But of course, outside of those, important spiritual fasts, you can do this intermittent fasting, inshallah. How often I do it? I do it every day, literally every day. I'll do it every day except days that I'm cycling, because the days I'm cycling, I need to have, so Mondays, so if I'm not fasting, like I'm not fasting Monday, I will intermittent fasting. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, for example, if I'm fasting, I'll do the normal spiritual fast, and then Fridays as well. And Saturdays, actually, I go cycling. So when I go cycling, it's long distance, I need to eat while I'm cycling, hence I break my fast. But I'd say aim for between 3 to 5 days a week if you can. Once you get a routine for it, it becomes part of routine. But start somewhere and make it work, inshallah. Okay. Yep. Start again. One day. Remember our rule in Productive Muslim: start somewhere. Baby steps, small steps. The smaller the change, the longer it lasts. If you cannot do it, especially if you're working, saying, I can't. I need to have my breakfast in the morning. I cannot function without breakfast. Fine. During the week, you can eat, but then it's a weekend. What's in the morning? You skip breakfast that morning, inshallah. Okay. All right. Green tea. Yes. There we go. Okay. Eating, fasting after supper. So yeah, so again, as I said, separate your spiritual fast. Your spiritual fast. What's wrong with layering intentions? Good question. So the question I always say is, there's nothing wrong with it, but the more research I've done into it, the idea of niyyah and intentions, one of the common themes is that you want to, as much as possible, to make your act of worship khalis. Khalis means it's complete pure. It's like the difference between pure gold and gold that's mixed with something else. It's gold, but it's mixed with other things, or like pure honey or honey mixed with sugar, right? So it's not that Allah does not accept it, right? Even some scholars say that Allah might accept it, but He'll expect the reward to be reduced because you had other intentions for this. You had other reasons for this. It was not purely for Him. Allah loves the act that is done purely for Him, and there's no almost like self-interest in it, basically, because you're submitting yourself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and there's no self-interest in it. Hence why I recommend to separate the fasts. Whether I'm not saying it's haram to combine the two intentions, or that Allah will not accept it, I can't say that. I'm saying separate the intentions. The day you fast Monday and Thursdays, or 3 days a month, make sure you fast as much as possible for Allah's sake. Don't say, I'm doing it tomorrow because I want to lose weight. I'm trying to improve my mental performance. You try to get those out of the window. But in other days, multiple times during the week, you can of course go back to intermittent fasting, make that work, inshallah. Sounds good? Yes, 2 meals, and that's actually Sarfaz, good point. It's if you look at the daily routine of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, you notice that it's Hayashi used to eat 2 meals a day. And this is again across all, even most a lot of Islamic scholars, we talk about this. They talk about this. They say that it's 1 meal during the day, 1 meal during the night. Literally, that was the common thing. 3 meals a day was not common, right? 3 meals a day was something very recently was introduced, but the idea of about 2 meals a day was very common. A meal in a day, a meal. I remember my grandfather telling me that he used to wake up, had 1 meal in the day, and then he has 1 meal in the evening, and that's it. There was no this multiple eating, and grazing as we do basically. Yes, that's good. Again, of course, in between 12 p.m. and 7 p.m. Sarfaz, you can also feel free to, drink lots of water, drink tea. You can have small things like, have like a handful of nuts if you need to, or some fruits or something like that, some, snacks in between. That's your feeding window. Your feeding window is from 12 till 7, but then your fasting window is anything after that, basically. All right. All righty, good. So 12 to 8, 1 to 9. Yes, you can do all of that. Yes, 3 meals a day makes you unproductive. You feel a bit sleepy after eating. Yes. Fasting app is great. Absolutely. Recommend that app as well. Very powerful. Okay. So that's hack number 6. So again, practical. I want you all to commit. For those who have not started intermittent fasting, can you commit to 1 day this week, not next week, this week, that you'll experiment? So you'll experiment with at least 12 hours of fasting. If you can do 14 or 16, that's awesome. But remember, I said to you before, the first 3 days will hurt. So just letting you know, the first 3 days, but then your body will get used to it. So can you all commit? No, 7 to 7, that's 12 hours. Yes, Samia, that does work. But I would say again, so if you can't get to 7 to 7, great. Awesome, that's 12 hours, great. Push yourself a bit further down the road, 8 to 8 or 9, inshallah. But if you'll be surprised how much your body can handle, especially if you're drinking water. Honestly speaking, the water thing, it makes a huge difference, right? If there's no water, it gets a little bit tough, inshallah. All right, come here. I'm here, inshallah. I hope this is like the super duper, inshallah. I will do it no matter what, inshallah, right? You tell me it's a super duper, inshallah, no matter what, I'll do it. Yalla. You have to say the whole thing. Super duper, inshallah, I'll do it no matter what, inshallah. All right. Yes, that's all fasting time. Yes, so it's 12 hours, including sleep time. So that's why it's included as well. Absolutely. So yes, super 7 great. It can be any 12, 14 window, Mavash. It doesn't have to be I'm just saying 6 p.m. till next day, 9 a.m. It could be any 12, 15 window, inshallah. All right, awesome. Great. Okay, so that's number 6. Let's move on. Number 5, work outside. Okay, this is something, again, that's experimented where being able to do things outside, we stay indoors a lot. And you'd be amazed how, unfortunately, that really impacts our productivity, performance, our energy levels, especially if you live in a place with no windows or very small windows. It really improves the mood, concentration, focus, and energy level, and also resets your circadian rhythm as well. And you feel energized throughout the day. Again, so what I want you to think about is it should be more natural for you to work outside versus inside. Inside is for sleeping, eating, just maybe spending time, but you should spend majority of time, as much as you can, outside. And since most of us are working professionals, we mostly try to work outside. Now, again, I understand not all of you are able to work outside, especially if you're doctors or teachers, but see if somehow can you incorporate outside work. So here's some tips for you, inshallah. If you can, move your office outside. I know people who've set up literally an office out in the patio, in the balcony, where they just sit outside with a laptop. Even if it's just for half an hour, it does not have to be for a full 8-hour day, but try to sit outside. Yes, it gets hot. Yes, it might get cold. That's another thing. We are too pampered. We live in this nice temperature controlled environments, and anything above a couple of degrees, like, oh my God, I can't, it's too much, right? And oh my God, so you need to get your body, this idea of your body being aware of temperatures and up and down is actually part of it. Should feel natural for you. So try to move your office outside, spend some time outside. I'm not asking you to get a heat stroke, I'm not asking you to get a sunburn. I'm asking you to just spend some time outside, especially in the early hours. Those early morning hours, the morning sun is really, really powerful. So spend some time outside as much as possible with a laptop, pen and paper. If you can do it with 30 minutes, this is a good starting point. If you can't do more than 30 minutes, this could mean things like, for example, you can take a Zoom call outside. You can, for example, have a team meeting outside, team brainstorm outside. You can have like a walking thinking meeting. Sometimes if I'm trying to brainstorm ideas, I would actually go for a walk for half an hour and kind of sort of talk loudly to myself and kind of think through things as well. So walking, thinking, meeting outside can be very helpful. I recommend to kind of, again, team brainstorming sessions. It can be very, very helpful instead of being inside, trying to be around a wall. Try to really go outside as a team, sit outside, you have much more ideas. If you can't go outside, bring the outside in. I got plants here, greenery. I have try to get a large window, sit next to a large window. These things kind of help you bring some of that outside vibe inside, so it's not too dark and boring and depressing. Again, of course, sometimes I understand in some parts of the world, especially in the winters coming up, where there's less daylight hours and it gets very depressing. There is something called light therapy, where these are like lamps that kind of mimic the outside world as well, kind of bring more sunshine inside of your office. So those things do help as well, especially if you face people feel depressed with being in dark areas for too long in the winters. Those can help as well. And what else is there? Yes. One thing though, if you're going to work outside, especially going to take Zoom calls, meeting outside, do invest in headphones that have noise canceling microphone. A lot of headphones, including these big expensive ones, only have noise canceling in the ear part, the speaker part. But the microphone is terrible. They can hear the wind and, the guy, mowing his lawn. So what you want to do is invest in microphones that actually have noise cancellation built in them. That way, even if you're outside, you're taking a Zoom call, they might hear something, but it won't be as loud and as disturbing as well. So this is another one for if you want to take those Zoom calls as well, inshallah. So this, again, try to rethink your work. So ask yourself, what can I do to work outside more? Right? It could be something as you can spend like after Fajr hours, maybe just sitting outside with your pen and paper and planning the day. That's maybe considered that. It could be going for thinking meeting outside. It could be taking a walking meeting with a friend or colleague. Could be having a brainstorming session, taking a Zoom call, maybe this webinar right now. If you want to get up and just get outside, no problem. Put me on headphones and just go for a walk while you listen to me. I mean, I'd love to hear if someone does that right now. That'd be amazing, right? Just get up and just walk while you listen to this, and you just, you're taking the sun, you're exposing yourself, you're helping yourself build that capacity as well, inshallah. Circadian rhythm, Labib, is also, again, circadian rhythm is actually our body's clock, right? So we go through this, we explain this in the Productivity Masterclass. We go through this sort of up and down in terms of our energy levels, just like with the sleep, we go through like this deep sleep versus light sleep. During the day, we go through these ups and downs. One of the quickest ways to reset your circadian rhythm and to help you sleep better at night is to be outside, especially in the morning hours. So example, and especially if you travel a lot, one thing that really helps you kind of reset your body clock and make sure you're in line with where you are is to go outside in the morning hours, get exposed to the morning sun. After that, after shuruq time can be very outside. It's raining us. Again, Danish, that's a good point. Think about how can you spend outside with and without, the elements, right? For example, is there a way for me to set up like a patio where I can work outside, maybe in my patio or my balcony, and maybe the rain doesn't affect me? Is there a way for me to be dressed up in such a way where I'm able to take a walk outside, even though it's raining? In fact, walking and thinking in the rain is beautiful. So you can think about doing that, Danish, for example. So think about different ways. Just what I'm trying to say is don't try to fall back to the excuse of, again, it's so comfortable, my little cave inside, and I'll spend 8 hours, 9 hours, 12 hours inside. Ask yourself, can I really go out, can I make the most out of outside and spend time outside, inshallah? Okay, it is okay to sweat, Lena. Yes, absolutely, it's okay. It's normal, right, to be able to sweat as well. So just let's go for it, inshallah. And think of ways to be working outside. If you want to get some comfortable clothing to help you work outside, can be very helpful. Does this make sense? All right. So are you able to feed the wildcats every morning? Oh, there we go. Now we're talking. Can you, is this clear, the idea of why it's important and how to make this happen? All right. So our first one, yes, let's go the wet or sweat. That's it. Yeah, that's the motto. I love that. All right. And again, like I said, it's almost like with something we teach at Productivity Masterclass, talk about the fitra lifestyle, right? This is fitra. It is not fitra. It's not natural for us to be sitting or to be even indoors for so long. It's just not natural. But we've built our modern lives around that and feel, it's comfortable, it's natural. But you'd be amazed. This is not how your body is built. It's not how you're meant to be. You need to be able to spend more time outside, and you'll be surprised how your productivity shoots to the roof. And there are, you can Google things like how do you set up an outside office, right? There's one guy set up an office literally in his backyard. And he said, rain or shine, right? He will go outside and he'll work outside and he won't go inside. And he said it's made a huge difference to his productivity performance. So try to make that happen. But again, if everybody can do that, for example, I personally can't do that because of these webinars and stuff, but you can do things like a thinking walking meeting, brainstorming in the morning, trying to make sure, you take Zoom calls outside. These are all different things you could do to shout out to help you move outside. All right. Awesome. All right. Next one. Yes. Study Labib, study balcony. Perfect. Stand more, sit less. Okay. Again, sitting is the new smoking, right? You remember how smoking was like the bad thing, a couple of years ago, and everyone now understands how bad the smoking is. Well, sitting is the new smoking. You need to understand sitting is as bad as smoking. Really helps you, inshallah. It improves your posture, your metabolism. You're pretty much exercising while you're standing. But we're doing it in a very restful state, right? Awesome, Bashir. Got out of your seat. Well done. Helps you think on your feet. Actually, thank you. Can everyone follow Bashir's lead and everyone stand up while listening to this part? Just for this part, and you can sit down after this part. So just ever stand up while you're listening to this part. And let us know if you're standing up or not. So just stand up while you listen to this part and really just, experience just the energy level, the shift in energy, inshallah. All right, there we go. Niloufar standing. Awesome. So how do you implement this? Number one, start working if you have to. Don't get this. I know something like, standing desks are so expensive. Which one should I get? Honestly, get an ironing board. That's like the best standing desk hack. Those ironing board that you iron your clothes on, use that as a standing desk. So put your clothes on, not put clothes on, put your work laptop there, put your books there. That is your standing desk. Try it out. See if you can sit on this ironing board and work ironing board for a long time. If you're not able to, if you're able to, invest in a sit stand, what we call desk, right? So I've got a sit stand desk. This means it stands and sit. Now, there's research that says that standing for 8 hours straight is also not good for you. You do have to sit down because then you mess up your feet and cause all sorts of issues. So you want to alternate between standing and sitting, but spending more time standing than sitting. If you need to sit, then limit your sitting to 45 minutes to an hour maximum, right? So meaning that, let's say I stand for 3-4 hours. I feel a bit tired. I sit down for like 1 hour. I stand up again, another 3-4 hours. I sit down for like 45 minutes, an hour. I stand up again, and so on and so forth. Okay, great. So the ironing board hack works. Awesome. Dining table works. If you have a dining table, you can't sit, for example. One thing what you can do is put stacks of books, maybe on a laptop. Maybe use a wireless keyboard with your laptop, for example. So you're standing. You're putting your screen of your laptop up you, and then your wireless keyboard and mouse at the bottom. So you can think of creative ways. You can look at creative ways of setting up a standing desk. You don't have to buy these expensive, standing sitting desks. You can get a creative ways, but just stand more. If you need to, right? If you just sit down, I don't know if you noticed in my office, there's no chairs. I've removed all chairs in my office, but I have this guy. This is my chair, right? So get the gym ball. And if I have to sit for those 45 minutes, 1 hour, I sit on this guy here, right? So this is your chair from now on. You cannot sit on a normal chair. You basically, your backside should not know what a normal chair feels like, right? From now on, you'll be sitting on a gym ball for the rest of your life. I'm kidding. Sitting on a gym ball when you're working, inshallah. So this is a cool way to, again, if you're gonna sit on a gym ball. Why? Again, improves posture. You improves your core muscles. Because it was almost like a workout just by sitting, right? So it could be a really powerful way to sit and enjoy. And again, remove chairs from the office completely. All right. Sitting on the floor is great as well. I recommend, again, this is the Sunnah way of sitting. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ himself sat on a chair. In fact, sitting on chairs was very uncommon. Sitting on the floor was something that, again, it's actually a prophetic way. It's a fitra way. So I would actually recommend sitting on the floor is great. It's just if you have to use a table for our weird laptops, you have to sit on a gym ball, something like that. But that can be, you'd be surprised. It's not awkward at all. In fact, people love it. Every time people pass by my office, like, hey, what's that? Gym? Oh, cool. And they're like, can I try it? And once you try it, people love it. And it's, you're going to sit down and sort of bounce while you're sitting, right? You're going to be sitting down and actually working, inshallah. Yes. So Bashir, 3 hours standing and 45 minutes an hour. Yes, you can alternate 3 hours standing, 45 minutes sitting, 3 hours standing, 45 minutes sitting, and you can do that the rest of the day, inshallah. Of course, you have salah in between. So of course, you'll be sitting in your salah, all that stuff, inshallah. So there we go. So boom, go use that Samia. people laugh at you. Again, people will laugh at you first, but then they'll join you. I mean, this is one thing that you want to learn about yourself. And I want you to build that confidence where you're doing this to boost your performance and productivity. You're doing this and you be much more alert. People thought I was crazy putting headphones on, think I'm crazy when you have a standing desk on. People think you're crazy when you have a gym ball on, but trust me, the research is there. The improvement in performance progress is there. And then they realize, you know what, maybe I should follow that guy. Maybe that guy's not crazy anymore. Taking naps in the work office, also, inshallah. We'll come to Bakari, we'll come to that, inshallah. I did the working on the iron board thing. I couldn't stand sitting down anymore while working from home, okay? Yes, if office is all the time. There we go. 4 minutes. Okay, there you go. Samia is sharing some notes from our wellness master, Richard. So 40 minutes sitting, 2 minutes standing. If you really can't, if you have to sit, and this is something, but I would, and I'm sure Richard would agree with me that I would recommend as much as possible to push more on the standing side, inshallah. Again, Labib, if you do have any health issue, the back pain, stuff like that, please do get checked, number one. But number two, see where you are, see your limit. And again, sometimes it's just it's an exercise. You might feel sore a few days, like, oh, wow, I'm not used to standing. I remember the first time I had a standing desk, I could barely do like an hour and then I could sit down. Now I could do 3, 4, 5, 6 hours and I don't feel the need to sit down. So it's also about using different muscles, your body getting used to it. And of course, doing some mobility exercises, doing some, stretches, going on long walks. You're building back your fitra lifestyle, inshallah. All right. Oh, yeah. I thought it'd be 4 minutes standing. I was a bit weird that we run. Samia, thanks for sharing that. All righty. Okay. Let's move on to number 3. All right. This one is more on the spiritual side. But again, for those who attend the Productivity Masterclass, I talk about this a lot. The idea of building in a ritual of istikhara prayers. We always think istikhara prayer is only when 2 things, when I get married or when I open a business. No, it's about everything, right? As the hadith says, when one of us had to make a decision, was concerned about something. If someone who wants to do something, right? There's intention to something, then let him pray istikhara prayer. It is a barakah ritual. Talk a lot about it in the barakah journals as well. For those who attend the barakah journal, we have a whole section about istikhara prayers. It's about literally seeking Allah's counsel in all matters. I also shared a story for a friend of mine. He prays istikhara 5 times a day. And I'm like, wow, like how do you pray 5 times a day? He goes, when I wake up in the morning, after my fajr prayer, after the duha prayer, I pray istikhara, asking Allah for guidance on my plan for today, for that day. And then when he prays then after a few hours, he'll pray another istikhara on some important issue at work that happened that morning. And then after a few hours, he prays istikhara on he's a manager at an Islamic bank. So you do things like he prays istikhara on some team issue he's facing. And then the 4th time, he'll pray istikhara on some family thing he needs to go back home and think about. And then the evening, he'll pray istikhara on his plan for next day. And I asked him, like, how did Allah sort of treat you when you're going through multiple istikharas per day? He goes, I've never, ever regretted a single decision of my life. And just think about that, right? Talk about productivity. When you never, ever regret a single decision in your life. I mean, that is something that's just powerful. So how do you implement this? Again, it's about just making part of your habits. And again, for those who attend the Productivity Masterclass, talk about how to build habits, things like attach your istikhara prayer to your regular prayers. You don't have to separate 2 rak'ah sunnah separate from your prayer. You can pray, like, say, dhuhr prayer. After dhuhr prayer, you can make the dua for istikhara. You can pray the sunnah, for example, prayer for dhuhr or for fajr or for asr or for maghrib or isha. After that, you can pray istikhara. You can combine your intentions. So there's no harm for you to pray istikhara and attach the dua for istikhara after your regular prayers. But make sure it's part of your daily routine every single day, right? Have one thing, just one thing each day you'll pray istikhara for. Just one thing. What is the one thing you pray istikhara for in the, that ideal beginning of your day? Something that's on your mind, some kind of decision. Could be something as mundane as choosing your next waffle maker. I don't know. I'm not making this up. So, I'm too embarrassed to ask that. You see, one thing that we need to get used to, and this is where the companions understood, is that we need to ask Allah for everything. That even the Sahaba said, even if it's salt in your food, or if a fly came on your hand, so Allah remove this fly from me. We should get to that point of complete, utter dependence and slavehood to Allah, and that no decision is made without Allah's permission. That is the level of istikhara we need. We shouldn't feel like, oh no, these decisions, I'll take care of it because I know better. And these decisions, these are big ones, I need to ask Allah for. Get in the habit asking the small ones or the big ones, right? Get in the habit, just get in the habit of just praying istikhara, even for small things. And you'll see that even the big things will start become clear, inshallah. So have one thing you pray istikhara for in the beginning of your day. And again, for those of you who have the barakah journal, one of the questions we ask is, what will you pray istikhara or make dua for today? So that's another thing to think of. So if you, each day you say, today I'll pray istikhara for X, Y, and Z, and you make that part of your daily habit routine, then you're bringing that barakah factor there, inshallah. All right, so awesome. So Anas saying, I did this after masterclass. Thank you so much, Anas, for doing that. Yes, you can. So you can. So there is. So I spoke to kind of scholars here and say, yes, you can combine istikhara. You can pray this dua istikhara right after the Dhuhr prayer. Although it is better to separate it and pray extra 2 rak'ahs, right? So you can pray. You can combine it with your Dhuhr prayer, but you can pray extra again. But of course, please ask a local scholar if you want to double check, triple check that, because these are matters of fiqh, which I'm not a scholar for. So please do ask about exactly when to pray istikhara. It is best to avoid any confusion. Anytime you have a decision, get up, pray 2 rak'ahs, and then make the dua. However, if you say you have no time, or if you just want to make a decision before, let's say, your next meeting, and it's you're praying Asr, after Asr prayer, you can just make the dua for istikhara prayer and ask Allah for help. Some scholars say that even if you have no time to pray the dua, the istikhara prayer, for example, let's say you are rushing, right? You're between meetings, or you have to make a decision on the spot, for example. Pray istikhara, just the dua for istikhara, right there and then, on the spot. With, if you have no time to get up, make wudu, pray 2 rak'ahs, or there's no prayer, just make that dua, inshallah. Absolutely. Awesome. Okay, there we go. All right, so right now, write down one thing you pray istikhara for. So I'll take a minute, write down one thing you pray istikhara for after this webinar, inshallah. I need some rewards for all your istikharas. So one thing you'll pray istikhara for after this webinar, inshallah. Just write it down. Labib, so once you've decided before you take action, that's when you pray istikhara. So let's say you've decided to, buy a specific car, or you've decided to, send your kid to a specific school, or you're saying, I think I'm going to aim for this thing. Before you take the action, pray istikhara. Right? It's not when you're still deciding. It's not like, should I do this or should I do that? No. For example, it comes to marriage, right? There's somebody you're thinking about when we propose to them, or they propose to you. You got to pray istikhara on that person, for example. If you've not decided yet, that's still early on, but you've prayed istikhara based on that, inshallah. All right. Istikhara vaccine, sign of a masterclass. Also, that's actually the best istikhara. Istikhara to make a post on Instagram. Didn't regret anything about it at all this till this day. Even felt really calm about it. Awesome. Decide not to do something. If it's not to do something, is what is it for instead, right? What is it for instead? For example, I decided not to go to specific college, and what will you do instead? That thing you're doing instead is what you're going to pray istikhara for, because there's always something else you do instead versus that, inshallah. Okay, or you can say, Allah, is it good for you not to do so and so? Same thing. Start a business, memorize the amma. Okay. All everyday stage. Yeah, so that's a good one to live for. You can do that as well. You say, Allah, if my plan for today. Sometimes if I have nothing specific in my mind, I say, Allah, is my plans for today, right? Whatever I plan for today, good for me, make it easy for me. If my plans for today are not good for me, make it different. Make it different. That's a good way of putting it as well. Yes, there is a recording for this session. All right. Awesome. Okay, well done. Jazakumullah khair, everyone sharing, and Jazakumullah khair, everyone for committing, right? This is, again, I'm hoping you guys take action. I hope this one thing you'll know about our webinars, our classes, we try to make sure you take action. It's not just about, sitting back and absorbing. Take action, inshallah. All right, let's do number 2, have a reset routine. When your phone freezes, what do? You press the reset button, right? You just restart. When your computer freezes, you restart. Sometimes we go through life and we find ourselves in this loop, either a procrastination loop, some kind of laziness loop, being stuck in one thing or another. And you want a routine, we call it reset your routine. Why this works, this helps you get back on track quicker, especially if you're going through this very low, what I call the slackening mode. When you're feeling low, you're feeling lazy, you don't feel like bothered anything, it helps get back on track quicker. And also it gets you out of that procrastination, laziness mood as well. So what is a reset routine? Now, there are multiple ways of, say, reset routine, but what works for you? Some people, reset routine is, getting up, making wudu, praying 2 rak'ahs. That's the reset routine. Somebody else, the reset routine is going away for a couple of days into camping and coming back. Some people reset routine is to changing the environment completely and working from a different location. Some people's reset routine is basically just taking a pause and focusing on a completely different project before coming back to that first project again. But think of a reset routine that you can do, that helps you reset yourself, It could be a spiritual routine, it could be a physical routine, it could be a social routine, it could be any combination of routine, but it's that, what, I recognize I'm going through a lull, I'm going through a dip, I'm not at my best. How can I reset myself? How can I get back on track? What's my reset routine? And maybe sometimes you might be surprised that a reset routine can be something simple, as like I said, for me personally, a couple of ones. One is the pray 2 rak'ahs, make wudu, especially if I'm in the middle of a work day and I just need to reset myself so that I can focus. Or it could be changing environment. I would just, instead of starting my day at my office, I'll go start my day at a coffee shop, for example. Something that, sprinkling the whole house. Yes, if that's a reset with you, helps you as well. I think my wife will be happy, happy with that one, right? Sprinkling the whole house could be a reset. And it resets you, helps you get restarted. And because you're saying it's a reset, you in the mood where you do things, you identify that, hey, I'm in a lull, I'm in a low mood, and I have to reset myself. And B, once you do it, it kind of gives you that almost excuse to kind of like, okay, yes, I've messed up. I was procrastinating. I was delaying things. I was falling off track, but now I'm back on track. Right? It kind of renews your energy instead of thinking, oh my God, I'm so bad. I know I'm such a lazy bum. I should not do this, right? It kind of helps you reset as well. Tawbah is very powerful. Tawbah is the ultimate reset. Appreciate you sharing that, Bashir. Literally, Tawbah is the ultimate reset, because a lot of people, especially when you're going through low moods, or if you fall into sin, or you find yourself like really stuck, resetting yourself with Tawbah is very powerful. So absolutely, Tawbah can be Ramadan great, and the reset. This is why, subhanAllah, think about, our deen, we have multiple resets, right? We have the 5 daily prayers to help us reset ourselves. We have fasting Mondays and Thursdays, helps us reset during the week. We have the Ramadan once a year, Hajj once in a lifetime, right? There's all these moments of reset that Allah has kind of built, because Allah knows that we need these, something to change the kind of like our perspective. If we were set in a routine, we can fall back into it's sort of a bad mood, basically. Again, sending blessings, absolutely. This is something about, when dhikr and salawat is very powerful to help you reset as well, inshallah. Yes, changing environment is helpful as well, absolutely. All right, so before you reset your team, when you feel lazy, test different reset routines. Again, experiment. I always say to people, experiment. What's the worst that can happen? Experiment, and then if it doesn't work for you, you can try something else. Maybe the dhikr one does not work for you. Maybe the fast does not work for you. Try different things and see what works for you, and that becomes your reset routine as well, inshallah. Okay, so let's see some reset routines that you guys can commit to. So we got change environment, works well for me. Let's see about no, I think I should definitely aim to proactive reset. I like the question, Bashir. Aim to proactive reset yourself. For example, I know if my whole week is exactly the same, I'll by the end of the week I'm very lazy. So try a reset during the week. That's why like fasting Mondays and Thursdays helps you reset during the week. But also could be things like, let's say on Wednesday, for example, I'll start somewhere, I'll go to a different environment, because I know if I continue working in the same environment, I might just get myself into a very I might get lazy, basically. Every couple of months, every 3 months, 2 months, try to get a break, try to go camping, or take a break from your normal environment as well, to help you get out, even if it's just a couple of days or 1 day or 2 days, some kind of reset. So proactively resetting yourself is actually really helpful. So you don't end up waiting till you get to that lull laziness before you get a reset. That's a great question, Bashir, as well. Yes, again, yeah, quarter reflection is powerful. Going outside nature, yes, in a tiny house, in an RV, in a camp, yes. Again, Muna, going 15 minutes is also a micro reset. Again, you might differentiate a micro reset and macro reset. Like Hajj is a macro reset, Ramadan is a macro reset, but Salah, naps, right? These are all micro resets. So I'll say 15 minutes walk is part of micro reset, inshallah. Right. So we talk about different routines in the masterclass, not specific reset routine, but we talk about different routines, Lubna, in the masterclass that can help you kind of like get used to how do you manage yourself and manage your energy level so you don't get to that lull, basically. Awesome. Well done. Farhan, adding the 1 week well-being. That's great. Absolutely. Well done. All right. different kind of workout, Mariam. Yes, that can help reset you as well. All right. So, and the number one productivity hack of 1443, so it's like going hijri, of 1443 is, drum roll please, who can guess? Who can guess what number one is? Or who can, I'd love to see who can guess. What do you think is the number one productivity hack? Remove WhatsApp group. That's done. That's number 7. Power nap. Yes, I was tahajjud, definitely naps. Yes, Toba. Yes, naps. Naps is, I feel it's common now. It used to be unusual. Now it's very common. Hijri first, spoke about last week. Dua, nope. Intention, nope. Social detox, nope. Consistent sleep, nope. All right, number 1 is face the Qibla. All right, like what? So what I recommend, this is something, again, this is very common when you hear about the scholars of the past. Whenever they used to work, whenever they used to do something important, they would actually get up, all right? They would actually get up, make wudu, and they'll face the Qibla as they do their work. Again, it's something that, again, we've kind of lost touch with. We don't recognize why. And the reason why they do this is because it helps them remain focused on ultimate purpose, right? When you're facing the Qibla while you're doing your work. Now, again, it's not everyone can do this, of course, depending on your work environment. But if you're someone, especially an office worker or someone who sits and writes or does something, it helps my ultimate purpose. It helps in your intention, right? And you're less likely to procrastinate. You're less likely to procrastinate. I don't know if you noticed that table over there. That's my writing table, and that table is facing the Qibla. So in the morning I come and start writing, I try to write facing the Qibla because I'm trying to recognizing that I'm doing something here, inshallah, that is of service, that I want Allah to accept, and it kind of helps to renew that intention and not be distracted. There's something, again, that spirituality involved when faced something. It can be very, very powerful. Now, I understand that you're able, not everyone, of course, let's say you're a teacher or doctor or engineer and you're moving around, you can't just face the Qibla all the time, right? So if you can, move your desk and furniture to face the Qibla. In fact, one of my dreams is to set up like a co-working space that where all the desks face the Qibla. It'll be super cool. Feel free to copy that and use that. Another one is, if you cannot move your desk furniture, have some Qibla time, right? Basically, let's say you are working on something. Let's say you're a doctor and you're maybe writing reports for your patients. Face the Qibla while doing that. Let's say you're an engineer and you're planning your next sort of project. Face the Qibla while doing that. Let's say you are, let's say, for example, you're writing, you're writing something, a memo, or email to your boss. Face the Qibla when doing that. Let's say you are teaching your child. Like I remember reading a story that actually made me cry because it was this father that basically he was wanting to teach his son Arabic. So he literally said his father prayed Dhuhr, then he got up, made ghusl, he prayed 2 rak'ahs, made sincere du'as, and then turned to his son and started teaching Arabic. And the son learned Arabic in like within a year or two, something like that. Some incredible things, right? So it's something that's really powerful that I feel like, again, we just perhaps forget about, we don't recognize, and gives that connection, right? We always think of the Qibla and Salah or when going for Hajj or Umrah, but when it's literally you're working for the Ummah, right? One of the things we intend to do with Productive Muslim is to help you become spiritually intelligent leaders that impact the Ummah. And I feel each one of us, in our own little way, whether it's raising a child, whether doing massive projects, as we're doing it, as just like we face, as we face in our prayers towards the Qibla, our work, right? قُلْ إِنَّ صَلَاتِي وَنُسُكِي وَمَحْيَايَ وَمَمَاتِي لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. Oh Allah, my prayer in salat, my prayers, my rituals, my life, my death is for you, right? This is the dua Ibrahim alayhi salam. So one of the ways to kind of physically manifest that is to face the Qibla, inshallah ta'ala, and make that part of your, basically, not just productivity hack, right? But it's really just help us be the person who actually helps us move forward, inshallah ta'ala. All right. Barakallah fi, inshallah. Hope this was helpful. Again, if you're able to right now shift face the Qibla as you listen to this, awesome, alhamdulillah. If you're not, again, as I said to you, just find some Qibla time where you do something really important, meaningful, inshallah ta'ala. I think it can really help you in this 1443 and make it a difference, inshallah ta'ala. So let's revise our top hacks. Whoopsies, here we go. Let's do, guys, first of all, our top 7 hacks. So can you remind me, what was the number 7 hack? Number 7 hack was what? What was number 7 hack? Exit groups, number six. Number six is what? Intermittent fasting, yes. Awesome. Number five, work outside, yes. Number four, stand more, sit less, yes. Number three, istikhara prayers, yes. Number two, what was number two? Reset routine. And number one, what's the number one thing you should do? Face the Qibla. Awesome, inshallah. I hope this was helpful, useful, practical. And inshallah, what I would like to do now is to go over what to expect in the Productivity Masterclass, that is starting tomorrow, inshallah. So for those who are interested, you can feel free to stay behind and learn more about what is involved in the Productivity Masterclass. For those who need to leave, I totally understand. You don't have to stay for this part, and you can inform with a welcome, explore, learn about this masterclass at barakacademy.com/productivity, inshallah. So for those of you who, inshallah, want to learn more, what is the Productivity Masterclass? We started this masterclass 2-3 years ago, and we are now in the 13th cohort. So 13 groups have entered and left and graduated this masterclass. We have about almost close to 500 people who have basically went through this masterclass. And our intention of this masterclass, our big need of this masterclass, is to help you build a system of productivity. Today you learned hacks, right? Tips here, a tip there, a couple of tools, which is great. Inshallah, it'll be helpful, beneficial, gets you started, and you feel like you feel more productive, inshallah, spiritually, physically, socially. But we want to teach you a system of productivity that we've been researching, tweaking, improving, along with alumni, along with all the people who are involved with the last, so many years with the Product Muslim, helps become a more spiritually intelligent leader. When I talk about spiritually intelligent, for me, a spiritually intelligent person is someone who is God-centered, right? Is more focused on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, akhirah focused, is aware of the akhirah as it's coming, and is about impact-driven, purpose, impact-driven, inshallah. And leader here does not mean just a boss or CEO or some kind of, a title. Leader is anybody who wants to make change. Anybody wants to see improvement in the ummah. Anyone wants to see something very different, inshallah. So spiritual leader that impacts the ummah. This is what our intention is for the masterclass. So this masterclass is going to start tomorrow, inshallah, at 11 o'clock, same time as this masterclass. By the end of the masterclass, you will, inshallah, understand the Islamic psycho-spiritual perspective of the self, understand the power and impact of barakah to living the best version of yourself, learn more hacking tips for your body through sleep, nutrition, fitness. We'll go into more detail about them. Manage your internal, external distractions and how to link to long-term goals, how to plan your day, your week, your months without getting overwhelmed, being intentions-driven versus being goals-driven. And of course, put all the above knowledge in designing a meaningful routine that is linked to the prophetic routine, inshallah. So this is a 6-week journey. It starts tomorrow, every Tuesday, same time for 6 weeks, and it's a cohort. And the good thing about this is that once you join this masterclass, you can join future versions for free. Meaning that let's say you join us tomorrow, and then let's say in 6 months' time, you want to rejoin us again, you can join the next live session for free, inshallah. So when you join, inshallah, you have access to the masterclass learning platform, access to a private community forum, you have download materials and bonuses, you have some many discussions and breakout sessions, inshallah. I offer unlimited Q&A time, meaning after I finish teaching, I sit there for as long as you want me. So into like 2 hours, sometimes we say 3 hours. I'll be there answering any questions you have, inshallah. And of course, like I said, it's access to future live cohorts, inshallah. So really, it's alhamdulillah, it's been a journey. And for me personally, I learn more from each group than perhaps they learn from me, because it's just the experience of a cohort, being together, sharing your thoughts, and coming together to become spiritually intelligent leaders that impact them. We need more of these people. Our intention is to build a critical mass of spiritually intelligent leaders that impact the ummah, because the ummah needs it today. We don't want just leaders who are efficient or leaders who just know how to lead. We know people who understand that spiritual intelligence and a very spiritual intelligence and make it practical, inshallah. So I'm going to go to a quick demo of what this masterclass is involved. And then, of course, I'll then answer any questions you have about the masterclass and inshallah. So if I may, I'll go into Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. There we go. There's here. This is the masterclass, so if you go to barakacademy.com /masterclass, /productivity. In someone can type in the chat the link, inshallah, will be helpful. There you go. Actually, I'm gonna do that. There you go. There you go. So if you go to this link, inshallah, this is a link where you can learn more information about what's involved, what we'll cover in every of the 6 sessions, inshallah. I have a detailed explanation about sort of what you learn week by week breakdowns. If you want to know what the curriculum is involved. We have a workbook that goes with the masterclass, itself. So you have this work we can download and you can print at home. For those of you who have the Productive Muslim book, there are some chapters in the book that are linked to the masterclass, but there's some things in addition to the book. The book was, of course, written like 6 years ago now. So there's some new stuff that came up since the years of writing the book. So you go week 1, like I said, is define the best self. Week 2 is spirituality and your best self. Week 3 is the physical well-being, like all the body hacks about disciplining yourself and your nafs. And one thing we really do work hard on is linking spirituality to productivity. So it's not just about learning some productivity hack, but kind of seeing a perspective of Islam. For example, how do you reconcile between waking up for tahajjud and sleeping 8 hours a day? How do you reconcile that? So those are discussions we have, inshallah, together. Managing your focus, even things like, okay, you might remove your phone and stuff, but why are you even distracted? What is the cause of distraction, right? That can be a very powerful discussion there. You want to boost your focus muscles. You can build a trusted system to calm your brain. Of course, managing your time and how do you manage your time. We'll talk about why we don't like the word time management. We don't like the phrase time management, what we like instead. We'll talk about that. And of course, the biggest question I get is how to stay consistent, right? How to make this happen. Alhamdulillah, we had people who have attended the masterclass who've come back multiple times, who after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years have come back and said that masterclass has actually helped them a lot when it comes to not just the work. It's not about work, about family, about being a better father, being a better mother, being a better spouse, being a better son or daughter, because you're able to manage your energy, focus, and time, inshallah. You can hear some success stories from Fuad and Jerry and Dr. Kakhshan and Muhammad and Rahina and Muna, and a lot of others who are actually sharing their feedback. And in this masterclass, you get all the 6 live sessions, lifetime access to recording handouts, unlimited Q&A time, private online discussion forum, access to future updates masterclass, and a certificate of completion. And the investment is $450 for one shot or full time for one payment, or $75 for 6 sessions. So 6 months, basically. So if you want to break it up for 6 months, the $75 per month actually makes it easily. You can do this over 6 months, inshallah. And what's important, we have our money back guarantee, meaning that you can attend 4 sessions. If you don't like this masterclass, if you say, it's not for me, you can ask for money back, no questions asked. So you don't have to commit. You can sign up today. After 4 sessions, you say, you know what, I don't like it, or I'm busy, or it's not for me. That's fine. You can ask for money back, no questions asked, inshallah. Once you register, you'll get access to a back end where you will see, first of all, welcome message for myself, the schedule for the class, the learning outcomes syllabus, as well as I think the masterclass workbook, right? So you can download the workbook as well for your own benefit, inshallah. This is a really well-designed workbook that kind of you can download and start using to help you kind of go over all the learning environment, inshallah. We'll talk about how to get most of this masterclass, what are the ground rules. And then, of course, for any billing, refunding queries, we have a very helpful section here for you. And then after every masterclass, we'll upload the latest recordings, bonus videos, sessions to the sessions. You can come back. Even if you missed the live session, you can always go back and watch it, or we can go back. And again, you have lifetime access as well. So that's the kind of the learning platform. And then for those of you who are much more social, talk about WhatsApp groups. Right? We have this one group which we actually moved away from WhatsApp groups and Facebook groups. We've created our own social platform. No, we just tapped in something called Circle, which again, we try to make an intentional space. You log in when you want to kind of have like once a week, a couple of times a week, where you can just come in and start sharing your thoughts about sort of, where you are at, how to, what questions you have. I'm here almost daily to answer your questions as well during the masterclass sessions. It could be very, very powerful, inshallah. This is at the end of each cohort, we take a group photo. So this is our last cohort, the version 12. Actually, there was multiple people, but most people were off video. But those who were comfortable to get on video, take a group photo, inshallah. And again, each of these people for me is like I create memories. I mean, it's just seeing the the names of people that have showed up today is really inspiring for me personally, to see people, same names showing up again and again. It's just reassuring, inshallah ta'ala, we're doing something that's beneficial for everybody. So I hope that you'll be part of our V13, our cohort 13. It starts tomorrow, 22nd of Muharram, 31st August at 11 a.m. your Central Time. And if you go to barakacademy.com/productivity, you'll get to learn more about the masterclass itself, inshallah ta'ala, and basically how to sign up, inshallah ta'ala. So I hope to see some of you there tomorrow, inshallah ta'ala. Let me see if there's anything else I need to say. Well, the only thing I would say is if anyone from the alumni would like to share kind of like what has the master helped them. I know there's quite a few alumni here. If you are interested to kind of, if if anyone wants to ask the alumni, like, hey, how is it really? Feel free to connect, inshallah ta'ala, to move forward. Hiba, is there goal setting part of the masterclass? So one thing we talk about in the masterclass is we don't talk about goals, we talk about intentions. And we spend a lot of time talking about intentions, I think in the first, second session, but why we should focus on intentions versus goals, and how do you manage between your free will and something that's meant to happen, destiny, right? So we talk about that in this session 2 as well. So this can really help you. We talk about adopting a gardener mindset versus a carpenter mindset, and all sorts of things, inshallah. Yes, Lubna, do I get lifetime access to the online portal? Yes, you get lifetime access to this master, the online portal, that circle space, our own social media space. The only thing you don't, and all the recordings, the handouts, and of course, future versions. So once you sign up for a masterclass, you have lifetime access to that masterclass, future version of that masterclass, and the portal, inshallah. So absolutely, inshallah. Any other question that are popping up? Muna, would you like to come off mute? Share. I know I'm gonna always put on the spot. Feel free if you want to share, get on this. If anyone wants to reach Muna privately, feel free to do so as well. If you can ask her privately, inshallah ta'ala. All righty. So Hiba, so right now we've actually removed we used to have a way where you can be part of Barakah Academy without taking masterclass. But what we realized is that we wanted people to join Barakah Academy after they attend one of our masterclasses. We have the productivity one, the mindfulness one, the wellness one, the confidence one, and one advanced, which is for psychology for those who attend this particular masterclass. So one thing we did, we rethought that if you're trying to train spiritual intelligent leaders, the first step is they need to join one of these cohorts. Once they join one of these cohorts, you can then try, we'll give you a 1 month free trial to Barakah Academy. And if you like it, you can have an annual membership to Barakah Academy. During that annual membership Barakah Academy, you have things like the book club. We're going to set up like a quarterly accountability calls. We had one last week, which was really fun. You set your intentions, and then we kind of hold you accountable. You kind of come to the stage, though, this is what my intention was past 3 months. Here's where I am now. And that sort of discussion happens inside Barakah Academy community. So we're saying the community really is for graduates of one of our masterclasses, because we noticed that those people are the most vested and the most keen, and they show up more often. But if you just sign up for another Barakah Academy, you might show up, not show up, inshallah. So I hope that you become part of one of our masterclass. It doesn't have to be this one; it could be any masterclass you choose, inshallah. Amir, if you go to barakahacademy.com, so we've actually set up our training arm. Now it's called Barakah Academy. So Productive Muslim Company is the company that is kind of like, the productivity training, the training company, the overall training company. But we have an actual training arm called Barakah Academy. And Barakah Academy, you'll go there, you'll see, we have a calendar of our, I think, not yet, I'm going to put it soon, inshallah. You can see all the programs on that, our masterclasses, inshallah. We also sometimes we do like short workshops, like we have a workshop on procrastination, we have a workshop on habits, which we do once in a while. But those short workshops are kind of on and off, depending on availability of instructors. The masterclasses are much more regular, basically, inshallah. Yes, recording will be available, inshallah. All right, so Muna, if you can, let me find you. If you can raise your hand and I'll unmute you, inshallah. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Awesome, but welcome aboard here, but good to have you. And Hamdi, we have a good number of people signed up as well, so you'll be a good crowd. Bismillah, Muna, go ahead.
Hi, assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Good, loud and clear.
Okay, good. That's good to hear. Hi, assalamu alaikum, everyone. So I did the masterclass in July 2019. I can't emphasize, I think, I don't even know where to start to say how awesome this masterclass is and how life-changing it is. To be honest, it's a lifelong journey of improving yourself and just taking those baby steps since then. Alhamdulillah, like I don't really recognize who I was previously. Seriously, who was I? In terms of, alhamdulillah, I have such a good routine now, which before, if you asked me a few years ago that every day I'd read Quran, every day I'd do sajda to shukr, every morning I'll do dua. This is all part of my morning routine. It took me some time to sort of build into my morning routine. And now I'm working on my evening routine, but it's just, I can see, alhamdulillah, the quality of my life is changing. And even in terms of just procrastination, my focus, my sleep is so much better now because I figured out exactly what my sleep cycles are, and even with my naps. So it just helps me with my energy levels. Yeah, alhamdulillah. It's a life-changing course. So I couldn't recommend it enough. So please do istikhara, please sign up. It's awesome. And inshallah, you benefit. It's amazing. It's amazing. I could go on all day. I'm going to stop there.
Jazakallah khair. What I love what you said right now is two things. Number one, this has been a couple of years now, right? 2019, which Hijri 1441. And basically and the fact that it's a system, right? So you always think of ways to improve yourself. You're always thinking of ways to, it's not like you just, we've done this before. I've done this before, right? We're in a 6-week program, a 1-week program, or a 3-month program. And then it's part of our past versus it's giving you the tools to kind of like start hacking yourself. Okay, this is work is not working. What can I do to improve? I need to improve my sleep now. It gives you a reference. I'm not saying it'll give you all the answers, but it'll at least give you a system and a way of thinking that helps you improve your productivity. This is what I'm hoping, and it's a good example from Munna herself that really helps. Let's hear from Sarfraz. Jazakallah khair, Munna, for sharing. Let's hear from Sarfraz.
Assalamu alaikum, Mohammed.
So
my experience with the Productive Muslim is long, right? I have been listening to you from 2008, but I took this class only last year for September 2020, and it has been life-changing for me too. I've been listening for you for a long time, like 10 years, and I knew things here and there, bits, pieces here, bits, pieces there. But going through this class gave me a structure of how to think in each of these different pillars of productivity and how barakah is defined from an Islamic perspective and how we can achieve that. So that was transformational for me. And I like that after each class, we had enough time to ask you any question, right, face to face, and you answered those questions. At the same time, during the week, you were very prompt to clarifying points and giving, like within 12 hours, we used to get, sometimes within minutes, used to reply us those things. So that was really, I haven't seen this anywhere, and it was really very nice. So I'll encourage everyone to just join it. If you have been listening to Mohammed for a long time, or you have listened to him for the first time, you know that he's very committed and he give you all 100% what is deserved. And it's time and money spent here is transformational. That's all I have to say.
Exactly. Your question, Labib, is asking, can you please share what are the changes in your daily life after the masterclass?
So there were a couple of changes. I changed my routine a lot. So from a physical perspective, I was not regular in doing my exercise on a regular basis. So that was a big change for me. Right now, I am on a continuous basis. I am spending like 30 minutes daily routine. The other thing was on my regimen for my eating habits, right? So I was able to cut down on my sugar a lot. So that helped me to lower my diabetic level, as well as lower my what do you say, the fat and everything like that. So on that side, so from a physical side, from a spiritual side, I have now a daily morning and evening routine where I am constantly attached to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. My days start with all this dua routine, the Quran routine, and all those things. I am now away from social media. I still use social media, but you will not find any app or anything on my phone. So I was able to get rid of it, and my life is going on perfect without that. Whenever I have to check anything, I can go on the desktop and take. So there was all these changes, and there were many more which I can keep on talking the whole day and it will not finish. So
don't give away too much secrets. Okay. Jazakallah khair, Sarfraz. And again, one thing, and for those who always make the changes, I will say it's not myself or the class, it's people showing up and wanting to change. That's what I really admire about Muna and Sarfraz and Samia and Rahina and all the amazing alumni we have, is that people show up wanting to change. And that's why this masterclass won't do the work for you. It will give you the tools, the practical tips, the encouragement, the support. I'll give you my best. I'll try my best by Allah's permission, to give you everything I can. But in the end, you'll have to do the work. And the successful alumni that I've noticed and I've witnessed and have been honestly inspired by is those who've committed and stepped up and did the work and then continued the work. And inshallah, the tools were just the means, right? The tools were just the masterclass was just the means. So I'm really, really hoping that people, when you show up to this masterclass, and we'll do that tomorrow, inshallah, I'll make you commit. You'll commit to make those changes. But again, starting small. I'm not asking you to make big changes. It's not about life-changing. People saying that it's life-changing, but remember, Muna is talking after 2 years of the masterclass. Sarfaz after almost a year of the masterclass, where it's life-changing, but it's life-changing when you start doing small steps that last long, and this has a snowballing effect. And you notice after 1 year, you're like, oh my goodness, as Muna mentioned, I can't even recognize who I was before. So and this does not happen in 6 weeks. It starts there and continues after. And I think that is kind of hopefully the intention of the masterclass, by Allah's permission, tawfiq. And again, it's all from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are just, I'm just the parrot or the clown. There's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes by the team, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's tawfiq, to ask Allah to continue to keep us sincere for His sake and to share this knowledge in a way that's practical, useful, and beneficial, inshallah ta'ala. I'm going to end up with a few questions, inshallah ta'ala. If you may, inshallah ta'ala. So number one, the first of the link, Aisha is here. Oops, it's let's see. Aisha is here. Basically, you can access the link. Labib, is there a difference in Muharram edition, other editions? So sometimes what we do, so we've started to rename these masterclasses based on which Islamic month, again, going Hijri. But the key thing there is that I do change the content between masterclasses, not by a lot, but for those, again, alumni will tell you this every time they show up to a different masterclass, like, hey, wait a second, I didn't learn this last time, or where was this last time? Because again, we learn, we improve, we try different things. So the math is not static. And that's why I give future access, because I want to make sure that as a masterclass graduate, you always have access to our latest thinking, our latest models, latest frameworks, because, we learn from coaching, from researching, from talking to people, realize, okay, that part did work, that part did not work. Let's see how we can do it differently. So we do tweak it between masterclasses, and the latest edition is normally the one that has the latest thinking about things. Sometimes I remove things, sometimes I add things. Some people don't like that, but that's what we do, because we want to make sure we give you the latest content shot item. So yes, there is a difference in Muharram edition and other editions. Sometimes if we do a master before Ramadan, we might do something about Ramadan related, but normally, usually say like 80 to 90% of the content is the same, but the 10% keeps on changing between masterclasses, and those who tend to know the shot item. Is there a way to pay as you go? Yes, there is a 6 months installment plan, Bashir. So you can feel free to sign up for that. You have to pay in full. And one thing we do at Product Muslim, the the payment in full is exactly the same as paying in 6 months installment. A lot of times you just look at online courses, they charge you more for paying in installments. We don't do that. We think it's unethical to do that because it's not right to almost like punish people for not being able to afford to pay in full. So the full price and the installment plan, if you add them all up together, exactly the same price. It's just a matter of just choosing which one you go for. We trust you. We know you're not gonna, if you like something, you're gonna continue. And if you struggle with payments, something we can discuss later, but inshallah, you can help us make it help, inshallah. Yes, exactly, Lubna. You have access to new act content. You can attend any future cohort, and all the cohorts have new recordings. Those new recordings will replace the old recordings. So you always have lifetime access to new content, Lubna. You never get stuck with old content from 10 years ago. Like right now, our first cohort that took the masterclass, they have access to the one we just completed in July 1442 basically, inshallah. So I hope yes, we give the latest content basically. We don't ask you to pay more to get the latest content, inshallah, because you already paid for it once already. It's questioning about is Product Muslim taking all the programs Barak Academy? Well, right now, so we are separating. So Product Muslim Company, there's 3 parts of Product Muslim Company. There is our thought leadership, our blogs, our articles, our newsletters, our books, inshallah, and then there's the training, and which we set up Barakah Academy for, which basically are training and community where we kind of train spiritual intelligent leaders. And then we're going to have our shop, which has our products, things like the Barakah Journal and the Barakah Culture cards. And inshallah, we might be starting a foundation as well, a charitable foundation as well in the future. So these are all sort of, all under Barakah Muslim Company, but they are just different parts of the company. So they are, we're not shutting down Barakah Muslim, don't worry. It's still going to go live, inshallah. Can I start after a few weeks? So the deadline to register is by the end of this week. I mean, we're starting tomorrow, but if you miss one session, you can catch up. I do not recommend you to sign up after we miss 2 sessions because it becomes very difficult to catch up. And honestly, the quality of learning will be there for you. So if you cannot sign up now, you can wait till the next cohort. You can find out when the next cohort is on the page, inshallah, barakahacademy.com/productivity. It will tell you where is the next cohort, inshallah, for you to sign up if you can't do it this time, inshallah. Yes, you can get a recording session, no problem, anytime, inshallah. Alrighty, so I am conscious of the time and I don't want to keep you going so each session is 90 minutes long, Bashir, inshallah. Let me see the time. Okay, we've got a few minutes. Each session is 90 minutes long. But to be completely fair, because with Q&A, and sometimes I do run over the session, budget 2 hours. So I recommend budget 2 hours at least for each masterclass sessions. But normally the first 90 minutes is actually the teaching and then the Q&A after that. Sometimes I do run over time, especially if I have a lot of stuff or the discussion gets really interesting and becomes heated, not heated in a bad way, but heated in a nice way, where there's a lot of interest and a lot of engagement. So sometimes it does go over the 90 minutes mark, and the Q&A is as long as you guys want me to, until you guys kick me out. When, I don't leave the Zoom room. So that's how long the session is, inshallah. Any other question about the masterclass? Going once. Going. Yes, Labib, absolutely. Everyone can talk during the sessions. It's not a Zoom webinar like this one where you have to raise your hand. So it's very, it's more cohort based. It's much more interactive. I encourage you to put your cameras on, to put your mics on. There's normally the size, each cohort is 30 to 50 people. So that's the size we normally have per masterclass. So you actually get to meet people. We have some lifelong friendship that started during the masterclasses. So it's a great community, alhamdulillah, to be part of, inshallah. Yes, yeah, alhamdulillah, awesome. And we're trying to improve the interactivity a lot more. So inshallah, we have, this is the one thing that I'm trying, there'll be some changes there, inshallah, just to make it more interactive, inshallah. Awesome. All right, any other question? Going once. Going twice. Alrighty, barakallahu feekum, subhanakallahumma hamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. I hope you found this session useful, those hacks useful, inshallah ta'ala. And yes, you'll get the recording and handouts by email. And hope to see you tomorrow for the masters. Welcome, Aisha. Welcome, Hiba. Welcome, everyone who's joining, inshallah. Looking forward to see you tomorrow, inshallah. Barakallahu fikum. Subhanakallah bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.